Welcome to Zane TV, the most must-see review on YouTube. I had to do that once. I wanted to do that for a while, but I was too... I'm a modest person. I don't like to screw around like that. But I had to try it once. Anyway, before we get started, I'm sorry for the color of my face. I do not know what's going on this camera. I don't know why it's acting screwy. So if I look super red, I'm not sunburned. Anyway, this Impact was very chock full of a lot of stuff. And it was mostly good. Let's get with Reno Scum versus KM and Fallah Bahh. Now, I do remember Reno Scum. I forgot the first name, Reno. But I do remember the name Scum. And remembering the oi, oi, oi. You got me in my face. I gotta say that I liked Reno Scum. If no one liked them, I did. They just had a really unique gimmick. Now, here's the interesting thing. Was the match good? It was okay. But then they lost to guys that are not on TV every single week in Fallah Bahh and KM. But now you got a feud. I'm kind of torn here because... how can I say this? You want to bring in a team strong. So you let Fallah Bahh and KM totally and completely get owned. Doing it this way, you pissed off Reno Scum in storyline. They did not want to come back jobbing to KM and Fallah Bahh. So now they beat the crap out of them after the match was over. And then you see KM and Fallah Bahh having a very angry, mad promo afterward. I'll say it was good. But then I'm not sure how to feel about how Reno Scum was treated. It doesn't mean it's bad. If they destroy KM and Fallah Bahh every single time after this, I'm alright with it. Yes, I like KM and Fallah Bahh, but if you're going to bring Reno Scum back, you're going to make them really good heel tag team because honestly, we don't have anything in the tag division. It's not like Fallah Bahh and KM are going after the tag team titles right now. So you got to do something. Now, that leads me over to what happened with LAX. I still say this. This still needs to come down to... I know a lot of people haven't said they disagree with me or agree. But I'm saying it like this. You need Konnan to choose between the two. Because now you're seeing that LAX got pissed off because the Lucha Brothers disrespected them. So LAX took their mask and kicked their ass. And then you got Ortiz saying, this is what they get. They insult us when we try to hand a hand out. They don't give anything. Okay, we kick their ass. And we make sure they understand we kicked their asses if it was on the block. And then you got... This is where it gets very frustrating with me when it comes to Konnan. Konnan is saying simply, don't do this. This is family. They're not like everybody else. They're family. But this must come down to him choosing between the two. There's no way this cannot just end with him staying with LAX, not even deciding to switch sides, or even having the entertaining of it, and it just stays with LAX, because then this will be boring. As much as this tag teams have great chemistry, it will be boring unless you get the one who orchestrates everything to choose between the two. I'm just saying. You got Willie Mack going up against Jake Crist. Willie Mack is one hell of a good wrestler for his size. He just is. I gotta say, acting like an X Division guy at near 300 pounds, well, he's got to be at 270, 280. But nearing 300, guys like that, they're becoming more prevalent, but you don't see a black guy do it often. And I'm not being a racist guy, I'm not being a prejudiced guy, but since the WWE doesn't have that, the only person that comes close to it is going to be Apollo Crews, and they barely show him on TV as it is, and he's like 240, 230. He's not a small guy, but he's not a big guy either. We got Willie Mack, who is a big-ass guy who can do that. So it really impressed me. But then, once David gets involved and messes up the match, you get Tommy Dreamer coming out. And then he says, pretty much, for 30 years, I've been dealing with pain in the asses like you. I'm going to straighten out pro wrestling, and it starts here in Las Vegas. Whatever is in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. We're going to have ourselves a match, and unfortunately, we didn't catch him getting a waffle out of the crowd, chewing on it and spitting it into the guys, and then spitting onto the ring, and then rubbing some guy. Well, I think it was Jake's face into it. I didn't catch that. Unfortunately, I missed it. If they do have it on YouTube, I'm going to try and add it to this. I'll see if I can find it. But you wonder, where they're going to go with this? Of course, they had to go away from Willie Mack and Rich Swann. They had to. There was no choice. Because of what's going on between him and Sami Callihan. And this is where it gets interesting. Rich must join OVE. When you see Sami talk about how when Rich was 17, his mother died and his dad was murdered, there is no one else there for him but me. I basically am his family. He needs to understand I am the one that'll always be there. I am the one. And yes, I have the moniker of always controlling people and doing stuff. Yeah, I am. But I show that when it comes to you, I love you. That was interesting to see that you got someone as tough as Sami Callihan saying about Rich Swann, a guy that he watched out for, I believe legitimately in real life. He watched out for him. He actually did that. He says, I truly love you. I want you to come home. Come back to my family. You don't hear him saying this about Jake Crist. You don't hear him saying this about David Crist. They're his minions. They do whatever he tells them to do. When it comes to Rich, he says he loves him. Now that means something. That you don't see in wrestling very often or much at all. So I will say, nice touch. I am enjoying that. Now you got something you guys are going to be surprised to hear me say. I believe her name, what was it? I can't remember Doom's first name. What was it? What is it? I can't remember. Forget, I can't remember. But you got Doom versus Tessa Blanchard. And I gotta say this. You guys know I'm not a big Tessa fan. I appreciate Tessa. I now respect her a lot more that she's showing so much because she's now lost the title. And in honesty, I believe finally she's come into her own much more than she did last year when she got that title so early. I'm not saying I'm a full Tessa Blanchard fan. I'm not. I still think she's got a long way to go to grow. I think that she can grow a lot more than what she is now. But she is now a much more rounded wrestler and professional because she got to drop that title to Taya. Because now she has to show her rage, her frustration, her disappointment, whatever you want to call it. Now the match itself, good match, and Tessa made it very clear, you're doing all right, kid, but you are not kicking my ass. I am the woman. And I got to say this, as I've said before and I'm going to say it again, if you compare Tessa Blanchard to a Charlotte Flair, this is a woman better developed. I still don't understand why so many people love Charlotte Flair when honestly, she's very botchy in the ring. She can only perform with people that she knows very well. Like I said before, and I'm going to keep saying it, Charlotte Flair is not like her father who can easily adapt to anyone and make them look like $1 million. Charlotte can't do that. Now, mind you, I'll say this again. Charlotte has great potential to be a great wrestler if she acts like someone other than a Flair. Because she's doing everything her father does with a couple of extra things thrown in. And it's her father. And that's the reason why she's so bad. She botches way too much because she's doing her dad's moves all the time. She's not a father. But in the end, Tessa wins. And we wonder where we're going to go with, but I keep forgetting her name. Damn it. But Doom is going to be a question. Is she going to be on the main roster all the time? I want to see more of her. Now, since we are with the women, we got the Demon Assassin pretty much planning what she's going to do with the Dark War. And you got Jordynne Grace and the Kiera Hogan, who, mind you, stepped up, at least in this segment, her mic skills, her talking skills. She wasn't incredibly great, but at least she showed that when it comes to a storyline, she can at least do a great effort and try to pull it off, because she made it very clear to Rosemary, look, and Rosemary said it very clearly, look, I told you, you do not need to be involved in this Firefly. You don't need to. I'm handling this myself. She said, She was my friend from day one, and she was taken from me. I went to the undead realm. You saw me there. You fought for me. I'm going to fight for you. We're going after her. Do not tell me anything other. And she made it very clear, and this is Rosemary. All right. You want to be involved? Sorry for the noise. People are coming home. But this is what it comes down to. When we win, back off. Bunny is mine. I don't know if she means mine to deal with, to straighten out, or mine because she's my friend. I don't know how far they're going to go with this or where they're going to go with this, but it does make sense. Now, you got Ethan Page versus Wesley from the Rascal. I always forget his name. He's a good wrestler, but compared to Trey or to Desmond and Xavier, I think he's not the weakest of the three, but he just doesn't shine as much to me personally. I'm sure everybody else will say he's great, but to me, when it comes to Trey and Dez, I think they're better. Maybe it's because they've had more time to be seen on television than he has. I'm just saying. In the end, what was it? Ethan Page, I believe he won the match? No, I'm sorry. Wiz won the match. I believe I'm mispronouncing his name. I can't remember right now. And it's due to, what was the guy's name? Greenwood. I can't remember. What was his name? Hang on a second. I have it written here. Where was it? Where was it? No. Morgan, what was it? Morgan Greenwood. I don't watch football much, guys. I haven't seen football in almost 10 years. I have forgotten all about it. I lost it after a certain amount of time. I just stopped watching it. But Greenwood's supposed to be a Hall of Famer, and I believe he's retired, and maybe he's trying to break into wrestling because he got pissed off once Ethan Page got into his face, shoved him back, and that's how Wiz won. The question's going to be, is he actually going to do anything in the ring? Will he do something at a pay-per-view? Will it be on the next show that's going to be a pay-per-view, I think in March? I think they're going to have another something, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up, I'm sorry. But it's going to be a question what's going to happen with Ethan Page with Greenwood. Now, we have, what else am I forgetting? Scarlett Bordeaux next week will be wrestling. She's in my face. I'm going to let you absorb that for a minute. Absorb it. Take it in. Just love it. Embrace it. Now I'm taking her away. You wonder who she's going up against next week. Maybe Doom. Who knows who she's going up against? Maybe Alyssa. That would make some sense. Doesn't really matter because we want to see Scarlett Bordeaux go in the ring. Or Scarlett Bordeaux dance around the ring. Or Scarlett Bordeaux shake her ass to the ring. It doesn't really matter because we just want to see Scarlett Bordeaux. Finally, we are going to look at what happened at the end of the show. Johnny hurt, Cage bleeds. I know that's very generic, but hell, that's the best way to say it. We finally got our match. Now, Killer Kross. Sorry, I said Cam. Killer Kross had his little talk with Moose. And what the hell is Moose wearing? It's in my face. He is not Ric Flair wearing that. If he was wearing something a little darker or something that had more of a colorful feel, like maybe red with some blue aspects and some feathers, like kind of like what Bobby Roode wears. Something like that. I would respect him trying to be a little bit more like a Ric Flair, but what the hell was that? What was that? Anyway, it was an okay match, and I don't really talk much about the matches in this show. There's no real reason to, because they were standard matches. They weren't bad, but they were standard. This match has to be talked about because of how Johnny got hurt. Now, I didn't catch the image of how he got hurt. I'm going to see if I can get it on YouTube to see if I can catch that move that actually screwed his neck up and he, quote-unquote, got hurt. And he spent the majority of the match on the mat, flat on his back. And it was Brian Cage who had to deal with that and then bleed. The first time Cage bleeds in the ring. He needs Johnny there and he can't be there. He's down flat on his back. You got the ref begging for someone to come down. They don't come down immediately. Then four refs and some people in the back come out. No trainer, not at first. No gurney. Then you got Taya coming out. And by the end of it, you got Brian Cage getting choked out by Killer Kross. And you wonder what's going to happen now. Now, this is what I thought initially before the match. This is not going to be over. And to be honest, I really want it to be over. I want Johnny to go up against Brian, and I want it to be done. I want Killer Kross to move on with Moose into the tag division because I want them to just move away from this because they've been there. It's reaching to a certain point where it's going to become very stale. These four guys have been going at each other for months upon months, and we got no one else. And I know a few people would say, dude, they don't need to go. Yes, they do. One of the major problems people tend to forget, if you got someone in the main title scene too long, they become stale. And you got two guys there that are beginning to become stale. They're still okay at the moment. They're like here. But they're going to go down here. It's going to happen. And as much as you like them both, and I do like them both, I want them to go and do something else. There is no way they're going after the X Division title. So they got to go after the tag titles. I'm not saying to stay in the tag division very long. Maybe about 3 to 4, maybe 5 months. And then put them back into the main title scene after we get some more people in there. Bring up Eli Drake. Bring up Eddie Edwards. They had their moment and they're going to have a feud. So we need more. But when it comes down to it, those guys got to move away eventually. But the question is going to be, if Killer Kross is not going to move away from this situation, if Moose is not going to move away from this situation, and then you got Brian Cage, who legitimately got his ass handed to him, not just by those two, but basically got screwed over by Johnny again because Johnny could not perform. He just laid flat on the floor and flat on the mat. You know those two are going to clash. But how are they going to clash if you got these guys continually getting tag teamed? You guys explain it to me. Please, because when it comes down to it, you got these guys tagging so much now. Brian Cage and Johnny, and you got Moose and Killer Kross tagging so much. Why not make them go after the tag titles if it's going to be that bad? Think about it for a minute. These guys are tagging so much. This is why things get stale. You need to move them around a little bit. Make a little variety. I know there's no TV title. It would have been better if there'd been one. It would have been better if they'd done something. But since Rick Swann is currently using that title right now, and we don't know when he's going to OVE because he needs to go, you need either get another title into the mix, or you need to move people down in the card for a couple of months and then bring them up again. That's just the deal. That's just my point of view. Guys, tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!